Thank you. I give the floor to Asian Forum for Human Rights and Development for a joint statement.
Mr. Vice President, we share the Special Rapporteur's concerns on human rights violations in the context of the 2018 National Assembly elections, including on restrictions to freedoms of expression, assembly and association, and threats to human rights defenders, media, and the political opposition. Such increased restrictions prevented this year's elections from being free and fair. While we acknowledge the recent release of human rights defenders and political activists, we note that restrictions are not fully lifted and many still face detention. As the Rapporteur's report indicates, an ever-increasing number of legislation and administrative provisions undermine democracy and civic space. Onerous reporting procedures and vague provisions in Lango impose severe restrictions on civil society, while the trade union law threatens labor rights. Provisions of the Penal Code, in particular the recent amendment to add lèse majesté provisions, as well as the proclamation on controls of publication of website and social media processing via internet, add broad restrictions on freedom of expression and undermine protection for human rights defenders, journalists, and dissidents. The draft cybercrime law, if adopted, will extend these restrictions. Genuine reform cannot be achieved without the repeal or review of restrictive legislation in line with international human rights standards. We call on the government of Cambodia to release and withdraw all politically motivated charges against human rights defenders, opposition leaders, journalists, and civil society actors. We condemn today's conviction of the 4 human rights defenders from ad hoc and an official of the NEC on trumped-up criminal charges related to their legitimate human rights work. Furthermore, the government's non-responsiveness to technical cooperation is concerning. We call for Cambodia and the country mandate to be considered in the future under Item 4, unless meaningful steps are taken to expedite the implementation of all recommendations by the Special Rapporteur and previous recommendations of successive Special Rapporteurs in close cooperation with the OHCHR. Thank you.